Hello and welcome back to the Automana podcast. This is episode 39. You are joined here with at the Real Shiesty, that's me, and my good friend here at Joshua Cast, that's him. And today, very briefly, we're going to talk about the Apple Showcase and Summer Game Fest 2023. And you can catch us or listen, watch, however, subscribe, definitely subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, maybe Kick. I don't know. They seem there seems to be little discussions about that, but I don't know if we're gonna end up there. But just throwing it out there. Word of mouth. You can hear us on the streets. I've been hearing that. Little pigeons and the doves have been speaking to me. They've been
The
chirping away.
seagulls.
The seagulls, yeah, the flying rats of the world. You can catch us on all those platforms, so feel free to subscribe to us, tell your friends, leave comments about watch and or listen to our previous podcast. Comment on those too. We'd appreciate it. We love all the love that you give us. Josh, how are you doing, my good friend? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered the bases, but I'm doing really good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well myself. Oddly enough, this last week felt longer than usual, even though it was a full week.
Really?
Do you feel the same way? I don't know. For me, it just felt like it was a long week.
For me, it felt like somebody Thanos my week and it disappeared.
Damn, really? No, polar opposite, dude. Like, I legit feel like it's been like 10, 11 days since our last podcast. Like, it's crazy. It's so bizarre. You said it just like Thanos snipped, and I'm like, no, it felt like a long time. That's funny.
Yeah, because it's like I fell asleep Sunday, woke up Thursday. But what made you feel like it extended your weekend? Did you do anything particular that slowed down time? Because I know we talked about this last episode or last podcast.
Well, yeah, exactly. I did mention last podcast. So like, my cousin from Cali was in, so we spent a couple days. Wait, that was last week, right? Or was that 2 weeks ago? See, now I'm losing track of my days. That was last week, right?
That's probably last week, yeah.
It was last week, yeah. So I got to spend some quality time with my cousin, which I only probably get to see a couple times out of the year. So that probably helped. I also did last Friday, went to, I guess you could say a barbecue of some sorts, with a with a bunch of people that I used to work with. So that was kind of like out of left field, but it was really cool to see people that I haven't seen really in years. So that was fun. And yeah, and then Diablo 4 kind of came out, so I've been playing that, even though I said I wasn't. So yes, I am a liar. I could probably talk a little bit more of that after we kind of bounce off each other really here. So yeah, I mean my weekend was kind of action packed, quote unquote. So yeah, that's why I guess it felt longer outside of the work week. But this week at work, I've been really hate to say it this way, not that I'm not been working, but I've been taking like training classes, so it's not like I'm actual day-to-day ops because I'm like in a training class. So it's kind of been a very interesting week.
It's funny that you're saying training because I'm actually currently doing that for. I'm not gonna say it now because it's the one thing I want to keep secret. But there's a potential job Well, when I say potential, I'm talking about most likely concrete 100%. I have something going in August that's permanent.
Fucking A, that's well. Do I say congratulations then?
I want to say that, but the last time I went into one of these,
Okay.
I was happy I got recertified for my tech thing, and then it went down 3 months later.
Understood. We won't do it prematurely, but hypothetical, if I may throw it out there, will this have an impact on our little endeavor right now that we got going on?
No, because the hours are very early. It's like a 4:30 start time in the morning, and then I get out like, well, I don't really have. There's really no end time. It's just they put you on call, but after like 3 p.m. they stop messaging you.
Cool, awesome. Well, look forward to hearing, I guess, additional information on that. But outside of that, besides me having a long week, how was your week? I guess how was your short week?
It's funny, even though I've had the normal week, the time felt quick. But the weird two highlights is I went to the store yesterday to go shopping, and I'm a sauce guy, and I love Chick-fil-A. And when I went to the store, they had Chick-fil-A sauce in the store. You could buy it. It's like I think it's like a 32-ounce bottle of sauce, and I'm just like, oh my god, my nugget intake is gonna be wild. Like I bought it and it tastes just like the sauce you get at the fast food place, and I actually bought myself 2 things of chicken nuggets just so I can eat them.
Nice. Not apples comparison, but not sauce. But one of my favorite fried chicken places, they just randomly said they were going to, uh, I guess you could say, package their own lemon and just throw a little label on it with no FDA approved information. They just like, yeah, we're gonna package our lemon pepper and just sell it in our place. And I saw it, I'm like, fucking A. I was like, let me take one of that. I got some extra lemon pepper because that shit's fire. So it's not sauce, but it's
The
lemon
flavor.
pepper. So it's a flavor. So
Eh,
seasoning as you will.
So you're saying
Um,
they're not FDA approved, but I think because they're selling it through their own store, they don't need that recognition, do they? That's like one of their
no, I don't.
workarounds.
Yeah, exactly. For as much as I know, unless someone gets poisoned. But with you talked about shopping, so I actually right after work I went to do a little shopping myself. I went to go buy some more protection, and I do not mean condoms, but actually like more what's called penny sleeves, which you normally put a trading card in first, and then top loaders. So I went to go buy some more of that, and next to the trading card store, not directly next, but a couple places down, there's actually even a comic book place. So I wandered in there mainly because I wanted to get my friend something for his birthday. So I did that, and upon paying for that, I I guess you say officially purchased my first comic book outside of a hardcover because I did mention I had the Turtles Batman one, but I don't think that one counts. So I finally bought my first, I guess, real comic book, and I bought it solely for the purpose of the cover. And that comic book is, I'm guessing this is the first issue, which is probably another thing that drew my eye. It's called The Joker Uncovered. And for the benefit of those that are not going to see this, the drawing is what looks to be a kid dressed up as Robin, but I'm sure it's not Robin. And he's sitting on Joker's lap as dressed as Santa. So I was like, okay, that cover is pretty freaking sweet.
It's a really cool
Oh,
but very creepy cover.
it is. And I was like, okay, I'm buying that for myself. And then I bought the protection sleeve for it too.
Did you read it?
I have not. I guess I'm gonna put on some gloves and maybe read it later.
You're like, okay, we're gonna treat
Uh,
this like it's a historian documentary or documents.
exactly. I mean, I'm treating it like gold, like as if it's gonna be worth something. I don't know.
You're just protecting it
Um,
for the looks. I know.
yeah, of course. But I just thought I would share that because we did talk about comic book day. What, about a month ago or something like that, give or take. And I believe this
Exactly a
question
month ago.
was it exactly a month ago? So I believe this question kind of came up, maybe even from you, if I were ever to buy. Well, voila.
It's funny because you even gave me a tier list. You're like, anime is much higher than buying a comic book, and then guess
That's
what? You just
true.
bought a comic book.
That's true. That is so true. So yeah, it was right there for like where you check out, and I'm like, okay, that's too cool of a cover, and it says, I'm assuming what's issue one, unless it's a reprint. Like these are the things I don't know, right? I'm like, fuck it, let me buy it. So there was that. What else did I buy? I bought a. I was gonna actually text this to you, and my apologies if you now have interest and it's no longer on sale. They had for $17 the Planet of the Apes trilogy
Oh,
in 4K.
yeah, I seen that on Amazon.
You
Or
did see it?
whatever.
Okay, cool.
The WarioWare thing or Wario 64.
Yeah. He's the one that tweeted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I haven't seen all of them, all three in 4K for $18. I'm like,
But you
fuck
haven't
it.
seen any of them?
I've seen. I think I've only seen the first one, beginning to end, and probably bits and pieces of the other two.
I mean, the first one is good, but the second and third ones are leagues better than the first one.
Really? Okay.
Like,
So,
well, the second and third one are pretty good, but I think the second one's still the best one
okay.
because I like the
Okay.
thing for Caesar versus the other ape. But it's 100% worth a watch. It's great.
Yeah, I figured like $18. I mean, you can't go wrong to get all three in 4K. Come on. So
I wish I didn't have them because I actually have all three, but it's not from that sale. I already bought them way
yeah,
beforehand.
yeah,
So
and 4K as well.
I no, I have them in Blu-ray. I
Oh,
was like,
okay,
do I really want them in 4K? I'm like, nah.
yeah. And I also got my email that my Super Mario Twins movie shipped. So I think I'll be getting that tomorrow, surprisingly. I think. I'll be getting some Pokemon cards tomorrow. I said I would stop, and I still haven't stopped. They keep reeling me in. Oh, God, I gotta slap myself. I definitely have hindered my purchasing, but I still bought one ETB, which is an Elite Trainer box for those that don't know, of the latest one, mainly because I wanted the promo so bad, and I probably could have spent the same amount of money buying like a PSA graded 10 one maybe, but
What's the fun in actually like getting one you know you're gonna get? The luck of the draw is the fun part.
well, no. This isn't the luck of the draw. This is the promo card, which is guaranteed in the box.
Oh,
But the box still comes with what is it, like 8 or 10 packs? Sometimes it varies depending on how they present it. Um, but honestly, like, and once again, I say this now, but I don't know what the hot card of that set is. But if I pull it, I'll probably just try to flip it right away instead of like holding it for myself. So that
this,
way, it's like I'm not losing money per se, I guess.
so I think I might have asked this before, but I forgot.
Mhm.
What's your exact fascination with collecting Pokemon cards? Is it the collecting purposes or the reselling purpose?
Well, I haven't been reselling. I sold very few. I just, I'm just enamored by the art. The art is just so freaking fantastic. I don't know if I shared this on a previous podcast, but once again, for the benefit of those that can't view, but one of my actually the most recent sets that I bought, which were shiny Zamazenta and shiny Zacian boxes. I pulled the I guess you would kind of categorize it as the Charizard of the set. But I pulled this Giratina V Star card, which
Oh yeah, you
I
showed
mean,
that. Yeah, the
yeah, I
inverted going
posted
under
on
fire.
social. Yeah, I posted on social media, but I don't think I shared it on the podcast. And this is gonna sound it's gonna sound horrible, but after I pulled it, I freaking drooled. I almost drooled on the card. It
Wait,
sounds so fucking horrible.
drilled or drooled?
Drooled. Like I was just I was like so fucking happy and shocked, but then a little bit of dribble came out. It sounds disgusting, because now I sound like a 500 old like bariatric patient that's like doing his podcast from his
Dude,
bed.
it's the
But
braces. I'm telling you, it's the braces. They
it
make you
may
drool.
but it's funny. I That's the first time that that's happened.
Okay, then maybe
Uh,
I have an issue.
yeah, I think it is an issue. I think it was an issue.
Because I know
Um,
I do that all the time. It's not on purpose. It's just you just see stuff coming out. I'm like, I don't even know how it comes out.
yeah. Well, anyway, we'll leave it as that. So yeah, I just love the artwork, and this one really doesn't do a lot of them justice. Like there's like actually it's funny. I got some other ones just sitting on my desk. Like even like Pokemon that don't aren't normally cool. Like look at this Miltank one. And sorry for the benefit of those I can't see, but it pretty much has Miltank, which is a cow Pokemon, sitting at the end of the table full of food. And I don't know. I just love the artwork. They're just like so cool.
I was looking on Twitter because recently you commented on someone's post of like Pikachu with a whole bunch of
Correct.
other Pokemon. I was trying to look for it so I could pop it up because that one is also a really cool art style. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called, but it's beautiful.
So yeah, it's from the same set that this Giratina is from.
Oh.
But it's like so the base set is only like oh shit, I can't remember. But whatever the base set is, that Pikachu card is this quote what they call the secret rare, and it's like the number one after the last card of the set. So hypothetically, if there's 175 set, that one was numbered 176. So yeah, I actually pulled that out of the first product of the set that I bought. So I was like really stoked, and never got a second one since. So yeah, when I saw that she pulled that, I was like, oh, that's awesome because I know how it feels like when to your point, when it's the chase, right? It's like you can always buy a single card yourself, and I guess like if you're a collector where that fork over more money just for product to hope to get it. It makes all the sense in the world to get that, but it definitely feels a lot more gratifying. You pull it yourself.
Yeah,
So.
and plus that's a full art card, right?
Correct. That would be considered a full art card. Yeah.
And it's honestly, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best full art cards they've probably ever made.
That's very
Color
debatable,
contrast with all the different Pokemons with Pikachu.
It is definitely a beautiful card. If you like that Pikachu card, the latest one that's going to come like next week. It's called Pokemon 151, and it just primarily only focuses on the first 151 Pokemon.
So is it like a remake of the remake? Because I know they had the original Pokemon Evolutions. This is a completely new set of the original.
Completely new set, and I don't know if you know about this little tidbit. It's the first time, I believe it's Kadabra. It's going to be on a card in like 20 years or something like that. Because there was some sort of satanic thing, or I forgot what the story is, but Kadabra was not allowed to be on a Pokemon card for whatever reason.
If I was gonna associate any like satanic thing for
it would
Pokemon,
be all of them.
It would be either Jinx, Mr. Mime, Hypno. What was the other Pokemon? Oh,
I don't know, Alakazam.
No, Alakazam is the one with the spoon.
I'm trying to remember if Alakazam was banned too. I think it was just Kadabra though.
Who's the guy that has it? It's the evolved version of Drowsy.
Yeah, Hypno. You said Hypno.
Oh, I said Hypno. Okay, so yeah, like he is pretty satanic looking. He
Mm,
hypnotizes you like a cult leader.
That's true. I wouldn't know. It'd be hard. I think there's probably other Pokemon that are
Another satanic one
equal.
would be Malamar, like the only canonical Pokemon that's truly evil.
I don't know. Remember what was his name? Was it Drappa?
Oh,
Remember
the
his
one where
Pokemon-
if you hurt the friend, or if you hurt Drappa's friend, he will come down the mountain and take the other kids away.
I think they said they was it taken away or actually killed them? That's the thing that's so funny about Pokedex entries. Pokemon could get dark.
Oh, like if you played Scarlet and Violet, that new Pokemon Tinkaton or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, the one with the hammer.
Yeah, its casual hobby is to get the mallet hit rocks into the air to knock down those metal crows.
Yes, I do remember that.
Like whenever it sees one, its sole purpose is to hit it down.
Yeah, it's so funny that those things are like so overlooked.
I forgot what Pokédex entry. It might
There's
have
a lot
been
of great ones.
Gold and Silver, but there's one from Magikarp that was so sad. It was like Magikarp, it's so dumb. It can't believe it's alive or whatever.
Yeah, it's like we don't understand how it survived all these generations or something like that. I was like, oh my god, it's so fucking great, so great. So yeah, while we're on the topic of cards, if I may introduce a mini topic, I guess of some sorts. I was going to message it to you, but I didn't feel like it was worth a full topic. But I also made another purchase today, based on the fact that there is currently $1 million bounty on a card that's going to be, I think the street date is the 23rd of this month, and it's a Magic the Gathering card, which I don't own any Magic product, but they're doing a crossover, and it's going to be Magic the Gathering producing Lord of the Rings cards. And the card that it's out there, you could Google it. There's an online store, or maybe they do have a brick and mortar store. I think they're called like Dave and Adams or something. They published that they would pay $1 million to the person that gets this card because there's only going to be one of them. It's going to be one of one.
So it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the golden ticket.
It's a one-of-one card of the ring, but the whole card is it's in the language of whatever the ring, whatever that text is.
Oh, the Elvish.
Yeah, I guess it's Elvish. I'm not the super nerd, so my
apologies. Kellen Broom, if you watched Rings of Power, well, even if you didn't watch Rings of Power.
I didn't watch it yet.
Well, even if you didn't watch it, it's in the books, but Kellen Brimbor is the one who created the rings, and he's an elf.
So, they're only printing one of this card, and they're sliding it in one of these packs. So, that card automatically is worth $1 million. So, I bought 2 booster boxes. Let's see. I know I'm probably not going to get it. So I just think that's really cool. I it's just mind blowing because first one person, I guess an individual, offered to pay $500,000, but then this store, I guess you could say, doubled it immediately. They're like, we'll pay $1 million, and who knows if someone's willing to pay more out there. So it's just madness, madness.
So, do you have to buy the booster box, or can you buy like a penny pack?
It's a very great question. Well, I mean, there's obviously stores will sell single packs, right? I don't know. Like when I went to the car store today, most of the Magic the Gathering boxes are going for like $250, and I think a single pack was $5.
Okay.
I bought two boxes at 200. I was actually shocked that I was able to still buy them. I figured because I just learned about this today. I don't know how long this information has been out there for because I heard or I saw an article that they released this information last year, which is crazy. But now that it's finally going to be released, I guess it's gaining traction, it's getting heat. So I immediately went to go see, okay, how much? Because I thought one of these boxes probably the price that I paid for the two, like at least $400 each. And I still saw them for pre-order on Amazon. And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely getting one. Fuck it, I'll get two. And I was still able to buy them. And I was kind of shocked. So I'm wondering how popular these are going to get. So I just wanted to share that as a little bit of news. I think it's pretty cool.
I wonder if this would break record histories for like a card collection because one, Lord of the Rings has a really massive fan base, and
Yes.
Magic itself has a really massive fan base.
Yes.
And not both of them coincide with each other. So now you're mixing together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pokemon, you're gonna be in trouble for a minute.
Well, Wizards of the Coast, I believe, is still the company that produces Magic the Gathering cards, and they used to produce the Pokemon cards, but I don't know the politics that happened. Unless I read this incorrectly, but it looks like Magic is doing more crossover product because when I was at the store, they actually have Dungeons and Dragons Magic the Gathering cards, which I thought was interesting. And I thought I read, maybe someone could fact check me, leave a comment, or call me an idiot and a liar. I believe they're going to do a Street Fighter crossover set. Maybe they'll come out during the Capcom showcase.
I know Capcom is doing a lot of collaborations right now, like Exoprimal during the showcase, which we'll talk about more later. But I know they're going into that game as well, so it's possible that you might see it, which would be really weird. I mean, like the way Street Fighter 6 looks, I wouldn't doubt them making a card set just because of the way aesthetically it's trying to put itself as like a street kind of look.
I didn't think I'd be buying Magic cards ever. I'm solely buying these really out of the lottery chance. Although, like I said, I'm not a super Lord of the Rings nerd, but I do have knowledge of, so it's not like I'd be ripping them and not knowing anything. Like I'll get some nerdgasm out of it a little bit, right? So, but if they do keep branching off and doing these other little things, like color me interested, but Street Fighter and Magic, I kind of want to see what this looks like. It sounds very interesting if it is legit.
So when does the actual box set come out?
Which one? The Lord of the Rings one?
Yeah.
The street date is the 23rd
of this month.
Okay. Of this month.
I need to keep an eye on this now because most likely someone will probably pull it. Hopefully it's you, but if not, it would be a hilarious story if some random kid picks up the pack and they don't even know what they have. They're just playing with it, tearing it apart, and they're like, "Oh, this card sucks." And then next thing you know, they're like, "That's $1 million card."
So to that point, the article that I read said exactly that. They're like, it's quite possibly it never gets pulled because what some people end up doing is they buy boxes, they buy cases, and they just throw them in the closet and let it sit for years and trying to resell. So there's a possibility that nobody will pull it. Or B, to your point, someone that doesn't understand value like a child. I don't really know if children buy Magic the Gathering cards, but what do I know? They might pull it and, like you said, don't understand the value. Do all this with it, and now you don't have $1 million card.
I think I just want to follow it just for the current, like maybe if somebody pulls it, it'll probably happen within a week. And if it doesn't happen within a week, then it's probably not going to be shown for quite a while. That's my prediction. But I just want to follow and see what the actual outcome is.
Oh yeah,
Make
for
like a
sure.
little gambling bet.
I think the interesting part too is like I said, I'm a little shocked. I don't know how they produce Magic cards either. I want to start doing this research. Like, do they mass produce or do they do like a limited produce? Even though the limited,
I think it's both. It depends on the set and the cards.
well, but the fact that this is like the only card, right? I figure like I don't know, like I figured you'd want to do a limited run until, but I mean, I don't know. But it is a game that's played, so you can't just limit it to amount where people can't get cards to build a deck. So I kind of understand that, but
I think if the company specifically says it's a 1 of 1, like you'll never get it again, then that's one they're not going to reprint. But if it's
correct.
like a normal set, they'll most likely reproduce just
Yeah,
because playability.
yeah. Because like if no one like I feel like people that intend to buy boxes and cases to store to increase value, that value is only going to increase if that card doesn't get pulled or announced that it was pulled. The moment it does, the value of that shit just it's just a regular product again. But if it doesn't get pulled, like those stocks rise. I mean, similar to like the original Pokemon set, right? Like people that want maybe a graded 10 Charizard, those cases go for what? How much? Like $500,000? No, or I mean, I don't know the number on my ass, but like it probably would go for a ridiculous amount of money.
Well, it's funny because like people always try like be like, oh yeah, if they save it's going to increase. That's not always the case because did you hear about the guy in California that was storing, what was it, X and Y box set? He also had a bunch of PlayStations as well. He was just storing them. He's like, oh, this is gonna raise in value. It's gonna be great. He basically the box was worth half of what he paid for because it devalued so much. And the PlayStations he bought also devalued because they were the digital. And when PlayStation announced their price discount last year, it screwed him on over. I think he spent his life savings of like $120,000.
Mm,
So 120,000 went back to zero, or actually probably negative, just because of how much he spent trying to, boost a profit.
yeah, I mean, those things are obviously gambles, no different than me buying these Magic boxes, and that's what I've always compared it to. Like even when the base, it is a form of gambling. End of story. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's true collectors out there. Like I still have my personal, what I call my personal collection, no doubt. But if you're looking to profit, it's no different than gambling. No different. So just want to throw out that little news, that little tidbit. I thought was pretty cool. And I know, you also have an appreciation.
For some reason, your mic keeps coming up. I'm assuming you said you have an appreciation for card art.
Lord of the Rings, but close.
Okay, yeah, I have appreciation for both. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So is it the actual card company that's making the announcement, or is it another company? I forgot what you said.
On in regards to Lord of
That
the Rings,
bounty,
or huh?
the bounty.
Oh, it's just a popular online store. I don't know if they have a brick and mortar store, but it's an online store. They said they're willing to pay 1 million dollars to whoever gets that card.
All right. So after this podcast, I'm gonna follow Magic the Gathering, follow the hashtag Magic the Gathering, and follow that store company just so I can see if it's pulled. But going back to you're saying earlier for different purchases like games and all that stuff, like you're talking about Planet of the Apes. Recently, well, actually this week, GameStop has a pro sale where if you buy one get one for select games. So I was lucky enough to get two games for the price of $30. I have Like a Dragon Ishin, which is one of the Yakuza games, and I was finally able to get Forspoken, a Square Enix game. I'm pretty sure you heard about Forspoken, right?
Yes.
It's like the Final Fantasy, but they try to make it more modern with a hipster girl being transported to another planet. So
Yeah.
I heard I heard bad things about it, but I was
Oh,
like, it's Square Enix. Let me still give it a try. It's free. I picked it
hmm.
up.
Nice. Cool. Cool. I have no games picked up? Question mark. Yeah. No, I don't have anything new. Like I said, I was dabbling in Diablo, so I told myself I'll do hardcore mode, and when I die, back to WoW.
And
Well,
you
that
died
lasted.
17 times and you're still playing.
No, actually, I am still playing, but that's not how it went. I did die. I got to level 26 and finally died, and I did say okay, back to WoW, and I played WoW pretty heavy for one day. I think I did a 16-hour stream.
Wow.
So yeah, so I was like, I was back in WoW, but as I was playing WoW, I'm still following. I'll still have a good time, and I'm like, I can't play again.
Yeah, I
So
seen one of our friends, Chris, has been playing quite a bit of it
correct.
recently.
He finally bit the bullet too because he said he wasn't going to play either. So I re-rolled a sorcerer this time, and I just hit. Did I hit 40? If I'm not 40, I'm level 39, but I forgot already. So I did better than my last character, and I am enjoying it. I will say this, and I swear I draw the line here. If I actually get to max level, I have no intentions of doing any in-game stuff and furthering that character. I'm just doing it for the challenge of seeing if I could get to level 100. But if I get to my character to like 50 or above and then die, I'll be pretty upset, and I probably definitely won't do it again.
Did they announce if they're doing seasons? Because I think they were having issues with live server people like farming certain encounters. But are they still doing servers? Or sorry, not
Uh
server seasons?
Seasons. I right now they're not like in season 1 or anything. So the answer currently is no, but I find it very hard to believe they won't use that same model. I'm pretty sure they're going to do that.
I was trying to look. I swear I saved it, but on Diablo news, somebody 2 days was it 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Somebody finally dinged 100. So 100's the
Correct.
max level.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. This guy must have ground like crazy. But I was like, okay, this guy dinged 100, and I believe was it you that said it or was it them that whoever dings 100, they're gonna make like a statue of him.
So no, not a statue of them. The how can I put it? From my understanding, the way the campaign is working is there. I think there's going to be like a big Lilith statue made, and I'm guessing on the base of that statue, they're going to inscribe the first 1,000 players that reach level 100 on hardcore mode only.
That's lame. I feel like the first person that dings 100 on hardcore should have gotten something special himself.
Maybe they might mail him something. I don't know.
The fact that
I,
they
I,
said the first 1,000 people to ding 100 in hardcore, I'm like 1,000 people. There's gonna be like little like scratchings on the little statue.
oh, maybe his will be double the size of the font.
It would be funny if they could like choose the position of where they want their names to be, and he's like on her forehead. Just put
Oh,
my name on her forehead.
yeah, yeah, I don't know how exactly they're going to do it, but from my understanding, I think that's how it's going to work. I I think it took him like 54 hours to do it, which isn't that bad. And he already died, unfortunately. I don't know if you saw that part,
Oh,
but
did he?
after he had 100, I don't know what kind of content he was doing, but he disconnected, and you know the rest.
Wait, so did he actually die or did he DC and then his character died when he was disconnected?
He died while he was disconnected.
Dude, that is probably the worst thing to happen in Diablo. I probably said this story a couple times already. But in Diablo 3, in season 3 and 4, there is like a group of people that have been playing, through the whole seasons of hardcore and they still stayed alive. But they died because they DC'd after months and months and months of staying alive, and it was like unprecedented.
Yeah.
They need to fix that.
I,
I feel like if there's a DC issue, they should be allowed to, like that restoration point where you could say get your
I,
character.
okay, so I'm on both sides of this, right? Like I appreciate a little bit of Blizzard being dicks. However, I do agree with your assessment. Like let's say the scenario is they're getting DDoS, or clearly, and by admission, they say, you know what, our servers fucking shit the bed. They then should roll back to whatever their last save point was. and if someone died during that point, then they get a reprieve. Those are the only circumstances. Because, like, yes, it still may be an anomaly, but if it's your connection, I know it still sucks, but that's a you problem.
Yeah, but in these particular scenario, well, I'm not sure
No,
about the 100 guy, but I know in the
yeah,
previous guy that was 100% Blizzard servers after
yeah,
the
no,
memo up.
I agree. Especially
Air code 34, or was it 37?
especially when they have that time invested.
Oh
Um,
yeah, a whole year of that
because
same character nonstop RP with it.
do you know if they also like said fuck this game after that point, or did they actually
No,
re-roll?
they were completely done. They moved on to League
Okay,
of
see,
Legends.
see, and that's part of that problem, right? Because like, and I wouldn't disparage anybody for thinking that. I mean, that's kind of where I stand with it too. So that's the fear with that. You're technically losing clients
Yeah,
when that happens.
like they've died before, and but if it's a death on your end, it's more understandable. But if it's a
Of
death
course,
on the server side,
of course,
anybody would be heartbroken.
yeah, of course, especially
So
when it's out of your hands. No, and that's what I
yeah,
say. That's where I agree. Like those would be the only two circumstances. Like Blizzard would have to admit, like our server shit the bed. We're rolling it back to whatever midnight this day, or if they get DDoS, because like that too is out of either side's controls, but it's acknowledgement that they were being attacked. Um, so yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I enjoy their stance that there's no we're not restoring this for you.
do you know if the guy that dinged 100 the first time, do you know if he DC'd off of his own internet or was it because server?
I truly don't know if I'm being honest.
Because
I
I
don't know.
know I've heard a lot of error codes recently happening after the new patch.
Today, from my understanding, today, and this is I saw this when I stopped at the shop because I was scrolling through social media a little bit. I saw that today it seemed like the servers were having some problems and they were down for a bit to restore. And I think right now there's a long queue time because they're able to be on their server. So the traffic keeps rising, and also I feel a little remiss to add to, but it's Blizzard's fastest selling game now of all time. I didn't think that would happen, to be honest, but here we are. It happened.
I think a
So
lot of it, I mean, obviously Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 being, relaunched and all that stuff has been helpful, but oddly enough, Diablo Immortal probably plays a bigger part on why it's selling more because apparently Diablo Immortal has been still one of the most high played mobile games. Still,
really,
yeah.
interesting. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I haven't really did a lot of the main story. Hopefully, I'll do that this weekend. I think I'll balls up and try not to die, because mainly I've just been leveling up my character in the regular overworld. So
How much is the game?
unfortunately, 70 base.
Okay, because if GameStop is still doing their pro deal, and I'm gonna see if the game is included, I'll probably pick that up just so I can get Pokemon Snap as well. But it's funny. I feel like the media basically jinxed that game. Like all the game outlets I was reading, they're like Diablo is launching to perfect scores. It's basically flawless, no issues. And then after the current, live server exploits people are doing, they're like hotfix. After the
Yeah,
hotfix happened, it seems like somehow magically the game destroyed itself.
yeah. I mean, it seems to always have like I'll never understand coding and all that stuff, but it just never seems to fail. You they go into hotfix one particular thing and XYZ across the other world end up going crap. Like I don't get it. Like and I never will, but it doesn't make a lot of sense from a coding perspective. It's like here's a string of code that's fucked up and it only applies to this dungeon, this whatever. You fix that. But then all this over here goes haywire. It's like what? Like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and plus becomes how advanced games have gotten, especially with online connectivity and working on other networks. There's just so many things running at the same time that it's probably processing that's also making it worse. But I feel bad for these developers. Like yes, some of these games aren't that great, but there's also lots of work that goes into making them.
Yeah. No, totally, totally.
But seeing
Um,
everybody playing it, man, I almost want to pick it up.
it's funny because like I remember I told you, and I advocate for SF6, and I'm like, maybe he should have gotten Diablo.
I didn't get Street Fighter 6 yet.
You still haven't got. Oh, okay.
No,
So,
because I was so I seen that there was a collector's edition available, and I was
hmm
gonna buy it. And as soon as I went into the store to pick it up, the guy in front of me purchased it, and I was like, "Damn you!"
Wait,
Because
was it the last one or?
it was the last one they had at that location, and there wasn't anyone
Uh,
nearby. Because I called it. I'm like, I see online that you have a collector's edition. Can I pick it up? And obviously they won't hold it for you on the phone. You have to actually go in and get
yeah.
it. So I said, okay, I'll be
Uh-huh.
right there. As soon as I got there, literally the guy that walked in front of me was like, collector's edition now.
Wow.
So
Wow. Well, I mean, it's kind of like me getting the last Tears collector's edition because I was allegedly the last one to grab that one, and now nobody, at least not that I know of, nobody came in right after me. But I don't know. I do know they made mention that I guess they did give intel to somebody else and told them that they had them. And I remember hearing the chick whisper to the guy, like, "Oh, what about so and so?" And he's like, "I told him to come, but we're not holding." Thank you.
yeah, well, dude, I was like trying to get them to I was gonna call you and be like, here, he's right here, he's a real person, hold him. And they're like, nope, he has to be in here in person. Tell
Yeah,
him where
no,
to get it. I'm like, damn you.
and that's fine. I understand it, and but it worked out. So
Yeah, I'm just like, there's 15. There's not a lot of people here. Hurry up.
yeah,
And then you
and I
told me
was
that
like,
the other location had one, and it's funny because they told me they weren't gonna have one like a month. What was it 2 or 3 weeks prior before that? So I'm like,
hmm
people don't even know what they're doing.
yeah. And I'm sure you know, I'll err on the side of like they probably don't know either. Like everything might be last minute. So
Odd news. I know you have to do something real quick soon, but apparently a lot of people have returned their Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition.
what? Why?
I don't know
I don't know
why.
about this.
All I know is that they reappeared really quick on the Walmart shelves, and because they were all returned, they were labeled as clearance. So instead of 120, they were $87. And there
I
was
know
like
I'm not aware of this.
70 on multiple like different storefronts, and those were cleared out after they were put on clearance.
What? Wow. I'm just a little mind blown. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too because I'm like, oh, dude, these things are gonna sell like hotcakes. No one's gonna be able to get them. And then
Yeah,
the two guys I told you to follow, I see on
yeah.
their feed that Walmart, Target, and I think Best Buy had loads of returns, and because of that, all of the collector's editions were put on clearance so they can sell them again.
Wow. Well, I mean, I not to shit on it because I'm very happy I got mine, but it was a little lack like there's.
Yeah, it was just a book
But
in a steel
I mean,
box.
although I think the book is kind of cool, but overall, like the Breath of the Wild one was so much better. But I don't know if this is going to come up during our Summerfest convo, so I apologize if this is part of it. But if I may add, since we're kind of briefly talking about collector's edition really quick, I'm not gonna get it, but that Spider-Man 2 one, that looks pretty fucking badass.
The Venom one. See,
Yeah.
it's weird. I looked at it and I'm like, eh.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
not even a comic book guy, and I thought that looked fucking cool. What is it, like 19 inches?
I don't know. I know I seen it off the Game Fest thing, but I don't know. It just doesn't interest me. I think what I was hoping for instead
Really?
of Venom, it was Miles and Peter like both swinging in like a thing. I think that's what I was hoping for. Maybe my expectations were too high, and that's what ruined it for me. But
Interesting.
who knows?
Okay. Once again, long week, short week.
Yes. So I know you. I before we move on to topic one, I still have more things I want to talk about, like from the
Yeah, let's
comic
keep
books and
talking.
all that stuff. But you have to go to the bathroom.
No, keep up. No, we're going.
Okay.
Keep on.
So
Wait, so I guess peel back the curtain here. I sent Josh a text. I said, "Hey, look, when we transition, let me take an opportunity, run. You just keep talking. It's not an emergency. I'm just saying, like, I could use the opportunity. So no, if you got more stuff, let's keep going.
okay, because I know how you said you bought your what was it Joker on what's it called Joker something.
The Joker Uncovered.
So if you ever read it, let me know how it is. But
Okay.
both of us just recently bought comic books. I actually want to go back and pick up the hardcover for the Walking Dead, thing for Clementine, and I also want to buy another Batman thing called the Batman Who Laughs, which is basically Joker dies, but before he dies, he infects Batman with the laughing gas. Basically, obviously, like the Arkham games, Batman turns into Joker, and he starts
Oh,
doing all this killing stuff, and he cuts his mouth so he can have a big smile, and it's
interesting.
pretty graphic.
Interesting. I thought I saw like the DVD or movie that's coming out that I don't know if it's similar in nature. Do you know anything about that?
If it's Death of the Family, that might be a different thing because I know at
Mm,
one point Joker kills all of Batman's family, like Alfred, Robin, Tim Drake, and all that stuff.
mm,
All of them. So
mm-hmm,
it might be that one, but I also
mm.
haven't been keeping up to date with that stuff.
Gotcha. Gotcha. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, Walking Dead, because you brought up Walking Dead. I think this was last week. I had no idea about this, and I don't know if you did, but they released a trailer for another spin-off. You aware of this?
Are you talking about for Dead Island?
No. Wait, is that the New York one? Is that what they're calling it?
The one with Maggie and Negan?
Yeah, that one. That one. Is that
Yeah,
what's called? Dead Island?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, once again, I've been so removed. I don't know anything. Last I saw was Negan killing Glenn here, but I don't know. You don't need to give me a recap, but I was just like, I've, I don't know what to say.
So I feel like people left Walking Dead the worst time because obviously the uh, the the Negan War lasted what 2 or 3 seasons. It kind of got drawn out a little bit, but after that they had two fantastic factions: the Whisperers, which is basically a group of people that skin zombies, put their masks on, and walk in with the zombies, so you don't know that they're actually human.
Mm,
And then after that they had the what was it, Commonwealth, which had an army of over 50,000 people. So, and
mm,
they also had like a civilization of like army people and all this stuff. Um, and then after that, for season 11, which is the final season of the normal Walking Dead, they want to branch off because obviously Robert Kirkman is doing a lot of projects. Negan and Negan and Maggie are going to New York because Maggie needs to go save Glenn Jr. or no
mhm,
Herschel. So that's why they went to New York because some of the people that attacked him in season 11 are over there. So Maggie is going over there to save her son. Negan feels like he has to repent for killing Glenn, so that's why he's with
mm.
Maggie to protect her and save the son. So that's why they're doing the spinoff. Daryl and I forgot Daryl and someone else, or maybe
Arrow?
it's just Daryl himself, is also having a spinoff show as well somewhere else. I think he
Mm.
might be going to Australia. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Mm.
And then also
Good
Rick
day, mate.
Rick Grimes and Michonne are having a spinoff series as
Yeah,
well, showing that.
I've heard that since like I left. Since I stopped watching, that was like a decade ago. But I don't know, I enjoyed it for my time, but like what I was disliking about it was like to me, and I don't know if anybody else feels the way or if you feel this way, but to me it felt too video game like. Uh in which like I was predicting everything, and it's like, okay, here's the main story. Let's do this side quest. Do the side quest. Come back to the main quest. Oh, let's do this side quest. Like that was just like the way I was feeling with it,
Yeah,
and
no, maybe with that part, that particular moment, sure, but it's different. Everybody can die. There's no
oh no,
safety.
no, I get that, and I guess that was definitely one of the things I appreciate with the show. I don't know. I guess I got just fatigue, and like I said, like I predicted. Well, I mean, the Glenn, did die in the comics, but then like the Abraham, like I don't know. I was just upset that I figured it out, and I don't like that. I
There's no
want
way
to
you would
be
have figured out that what's his name,
Glenn.
Carl was gonna die because Carl was not meant to die. He was meant to be.
I didn't watch it when Carl died. I wish he would died, and I'm glad when I found out he died. He died, but
Oh, so you didn't finish the whole Negan war?
no, the last episode I watched was the one where he baseball batted Glenn
Okay, there's like two more
and
seasons of that
Abraham.
war.
Yeah, so that was the last episode I watched. I was done. I'm like, I figured it out. I'm tired of this show. I've been figuring it out for a while. I wasn't getting surprised anymore. Now, maybe if I kept watching, eventually I would have. I'm not going to deny that, but I got fatigued. I fell off.
To me, I appreciate the realism in the show. I know that sounds weird, but like it has normal walking zombies, zombies decay and all that stuff, and they're slow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also when they shoot weapons, they can't hear that well. Most of the people there are deaf.
So you're right, and I'm also going to tell you you're wrong, and here's why. Because here's the other thing that pissed me off was the lack of continuity. Very early in the show, they realized if you put zombie guts on you,
Your mic cut out. Whatever you were saying, I didn't hear it all.
okay,
All I heard was zombie guts, and then that's it.
yeah. So I said the lack of continuity very early in the show, like literally episode 2 or something. They learned that they could put zombie guts on them and walk among them and all that shit, but yet for whatever reason they just totally forgot about that.
Oh no, they
And
do it multiple times. They did in season
they do it
4.
later. No, I understand that they eventually do it, but it's like you had so many opportunities thereafter to do it, and it was like just forgotten knowledge.
I don't know if it's forgotten knowledge. I think they only did that when they couldn't kill them. Like if there's like a horde that outnumbered them severely, that's when they did it. But if it was like a number, small enough where they can fight them, they just took them out to just clear. But just like Michonne, when she was by herself, she had 2 zombies, and she figured out that all she needed was decaying corpses next to her to mask her scent.
Exactly. And then where did that knowledge go? Oh, we forgot all about it.
No, she's the only one that did that. The guts, only Rick's group figured that part out.
No,
Everybody else didn't figure that out.
But what I'm getting at is like she figured it out. They obviously saw her. That's how they met her, right? So it's like click. Oh, okay. But they never like continue to utilize those methods.
Well, they did, but they utilized the methods by putting it around the perimeter. They would have zombies that were decayed, or they put them on posts by it, so the walkers would get led away. But when you're in a big group, it's hard to hold 2 walkers and fight at the same time. I think that's why they rather to cover themselves in guts. Because like Michonne, she
Tomato.
by herself. But going back,
tomato.
I think what made The Walking Dead more interesting later on is the zombies are evolving. They're starting to mutate. So now some of them can walk, or some of them can climb, open doors, and some of them can even sprint. So it's not like Resident Evil yet, but they still look like normal zombies. But because the variants are so rare, they walk in the hordes and they're blending in with them. So there's certain encounters where these variant zombies actually come out and just completely massacre a main character because they weren't expecting that zombie to be able to like dodge, weave, and stab.
I will say one thing that I'll give them credit for the entire duration is they got you to invest into their characters, and they did it quickly. Whether it was you liked them or hated them, so I'll give them that. They did a damn good job with that. So
yeah, but if you were ever to watch it again, which I know you probably won't, get AMC Plus because Fear the Walking Dead is pretty good, especially the first 3 seasons. I can't speak for the seasons after that because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, they had more than 3? I thought they only had like very few. So like
they have to that 8 seasons.
Really? Oh shit. So to your point, right? Because like I think the last season I watched was maybe when they had the first season of Fear.
Oh, when the outbreak just happened.
Correct. Yeah. And I was liking that more than The Walking Dead. And I told myself, okay, maybe I'll just drop Walking Dead and continue this. And I just never did. So if I were to watch one over the other, it'd probably be to pick up back Fear. But if you're saying that eventually starts.
So Fear is very weird because people thought it was going to be like, oh, you're going to see the beginning. That's not the case. Only season 1 and season 2 you see the beginning. Season 3, there's a time jump where you catch up to the current characters, and then after that, the other seasons are actually further than The Walking Dead.
Interesting.
Yeah, because at some point, like I think like season 6 or whatever, the people that that are in Fear, they come across a submarine, and obviously as a group of people in the submarine, it's a nuclear sub, and then things happened, also causing a chain reaction why zombies are mutating. But it was a big episode because there was nukes. There was a lot of nukes in that episode.
Not like Nolan nukes.
Well, Nolan nukes are very detailed, beautiful nukes. These are like Fallout 4 nukes, where it's just poof, poof, poof. Things are getting just blown apart everywhere.
Interesting.
But if you were to watch it, just get AMC Plus. Maybe check out some of the spin-off series. Walking Dead Beyond. It's not that good, but some people love it. Fear the Walking Dead is probably the second best Walking Dead.
Is Beyond like totally new characters as well, or does it follow particular?
Totally new characters.
Oh, okay. You know what? I do remember. Wasn't it the one they did like over YouTube or something?
No, so those were shorts. You're talking about like the
Oh,
Red
okay.
Machete, the jacket, and all that stuff, like the little shorts they were doing that were kind of leading up to each other.
Maybe. I don't know. That's the thing. They started like, that's what I said. I think they're also oversaturated. I know they have a huge fan base, and the numbers were huge for a while, and that's why they kept wanting to pump it out. But yeah, I didn't keep up with it.
If we're gonna talk about a series that learned how to adapt quickly to make a multiverse or like a actual universe, Walking Dead did it right because they had the timing down and they had multiple branching story arcs that are coinciding at the same time, leading to this grand bigger picture. Because Fear the Walking Dead crossed over with The Walking Dead, Beyond Walking Dead also crosses in with all three of them. And then obviously The Walking Dead's branching those stories off even more. And then they also have Walking Dead Journeys, which are like individual episodes of random characters that don't really correlate with each other, but then somehow they magically pop into one of the main shows as like a cameo appearance. So they figured out how to bring all these states, characters from all these different places into one continuous branching story. And they just nailed it with in my opinion, they have been the only one that has successfully created a universe that you actually feel is massive.
Gotcha.
If the story is good, that's debatable, but it's cool that they actually made a universe.
Plus, it segues into the games and all that stuff too, right?
I don't think the games count.
Really? I thought I mean, I don't know if you want to say they're mechanically sound, but they kind of are.
So as it stands now, if you're talking about the Telltale ones, the good ones,
I guess any of them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There, I really don't.
So Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, the VR game and all that stuff, is this you know the biker gang from season 4 where Daryl was with the biker gang and then Rick eventually killed him by biting the throats out?
Fuck, you're jogging my memory. I'll just answer yes.
Okay. Well,
I know I've probably seen it. I just can't remember.
Saints and Sinners is about them, so that's basically just a very minor thing, and they're done. But the Telltale games is about a character named Clementine that eventually meets a whole bunch of other characters, but that's not actually canon to anything in The Walking Dead. That's just a 2K story that's really good, and I hope they eventually adapt it into the actual television series because Clementine is one of my favorite characters of all time. I love the way she evolves as a little kid in the apocalypse, going from needing safety, learning how to survive, and eventually growing to be her own person and, basically paying it forward. And, the people that helped her, she's now helping other people. And it's just a beautiful evolution of a character.
So opposite of Carl.
Oh, Carl was annoying. Clementine, if you're going to at least do anything with The Walking Dead, at least play the Telltale games. That's all I'm going to say is the Telltale games are probably the best Walking Dead narrative you're going to get.
Interesting.
Like you're be like Clementine, she is a god. She is a goddess.
Goddess. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, she is a saint, dude. And then after you play the games, if you're really invested in your character, please get the comic books because they pick up after the games.
Look, you can't tell me what to do in my life, okay?
I'm just saying. I love Clementine. She's a fantastic character, and I really hope that somehow they're able to find a actress that can actually portray young Clementine as she ages forward because it's a great story.
Do they still hold their Walking Dead convention?
They probably do. I never followed them.
Yeah. Well, you're not a real fan then.
I'm not. I'm a casual fan. Like
you're not a real casual fan.
It's funny. I used to watch the episodes on release up until basically Negan, or not Negan, but when Glenn died. After that, I just picked them up whenever the season was over, and I just binge watched the whole thing.
But you still watch them.
I still watch them, but I didn't watch them.
Were you a fan of Talking Dead as well?
For the majority of the part, no, but I did like it whenever it was like a season, beginning or season finale, because that's when it got good. Other than that,
I
I didn't
would
care.
yeah, I would watch it. I kind of enjoyed it. The thing that was irritable to me, and it's not just them. I think uh it goes beyond just them actors. But when the actors, I'll say it like this. I would say over analyze their character. To me, it was a little too much. I was like, I would sit there and watch. I'm like, you're just so fucking full of shit.
Yes, but because
I'm like,
most
I'm
of them
like,
just get read lines, get paid, they don't care.
I'm like, stop it. Just stop it. Like, you're a fucking liar.
Well,
Like,
it got so bad that Robert Kirkman says you should stop commenting because you're hurting the actual storyline.
no, no, but if he did good on him.
Yeah, because I think it was Abraham that he actually criticized. I think that's also one of the reasons why they killed him in the show is because he was talking about his character and all this stuff and him doing certain things with Rosita and another character, and Robert Kirkman was like, "No, that's not how this is happening."
Like, you ain't getting Rosita X.
Yeah,
He's like, I already have Rosita in my back pocket
yeah.
as
Um,
my boo.
but it was just funny. I think there's like a couple other actors that also had the same issue, but instead of just killing them off, he just completely wrote them off where they disappeared.
Mm. Well, now that's an ego problem. But no, I mean, like,
Well, they got so bad. We're like, oh yeah, like they were like they were making some crazy statements. Oh yeah, he's gonna save this and that person. They're gonna do this, and I'm like, you're just completely deviating from whatever the script board is.
yeah, I think my instead of just unless you truly were gonna kill him off, but who the hell knows? I think the solution would be like, it's kind of hard to do, but it's like, well, you don't let them market the show. It was pretty much self-marketable anyway. It's
Yeah,
like you didn't need them to do all that. Like, legit, they didn't need that. Like, they didn't need to be on Talking Dead every time. They were doing perfectly fine with celebrity. That's what I liked about it most because you saw celebrities nerding over the show like any other person. They have the actual characters out there to I guess his point or his dismay as well. That's what was ruining it. I was like, stop yourselves. Just stop. Just you're like I want to shake like every single one of them. I didn't think any of them were cool.
yeah.
Like every single one of them. I just want to shut up. Stop
Well,
talking.
the actress that plays Maggie, she did pretty well, and same thing with Glenn. I forgot his name.
Stephen Yoon, I think.
Stephen Young. Yeah, they both did really well talking. They didn't go overboard. They just kept it simple with what happened in the episode, and that was it.
I don't remember. I just remember the majority of them were like really irritating to me.
Norman
Not saying
Reedus,
they're
man,
whole.
don't let that man talk on stage.
Who?
Norman
Norman
Reedus,
Reedus, you said?
don't let him talk on stage, man. Sometimes he says stuff you're like, were you really watching an episode? What were you on? Yeah, stop smoking that burning bush, man.
That's funny. I think it was always fun to hear. God, Rick Grimes' real name was escaping me.
Oh,
What's his real name?
I don't remember his real name. All I
Oh,
know
okay,
is
well,
he's like an English Australian
yeah,
actor.
exact. Yeah, yeah. Like it's just like, hearing him talk regular, it's like,
Yeah, he has like got a really good American voice, and he's like, "Well, hello
yeah,
there. We got some teas and biscuits or something."
right, right. It's just like mind blowing. It's like, damn, this guy sounds like one of us.
But dude,
I was fooled.
English actors have gotten really good at American voice impersonations. Like
Mhm.
Tom Holland, what's his name? The guy that plays Loki. Who else? Tom
Yeah,
Hardy.
yeah,
Tom Hardy does one of them. So it's
yeah,
like whoever their vocal coaches are, man, they're doing a fantastic job.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
But so I want to wrap up some quick news because I know you got your thing to do real quick before we get into the main
Oh,
topics. But I'm pretty sure you heard about the Twitch controversy, right?
very little. I know they backtracked on it, and I don't know if they're not going through with any of it now or what, but
So it's gotten way worse and it's still developing. So
oh,
Twitch recently
like
announced.
opposite of what you said.
So Twitch recently, made a statement saying, they're redoing their guidelines, so you can't have like any branded content, any brand promotions, whatever. And people are up in arms because it also hurts a lot of charity streams where you can't put their logo or burned image on there because they say it's advertising company that Twitch isn't allowing. So a lot of charity companies were saying this is going to hurt us. Games Done Quick. We're speaking out about it. Also, individual streamers are saying this is going to hurt streamers' revenues and all that stuff. Twitch was like, "Oh, we're backing down. We're going to take that back. We're going to revise it." but they
Mm-hmm.
lied. They said they're going to do that, but they even reconfirmed it in their actual community facts guideline. So it's like they said they're going to back down, they backtrailed, but instead they reinforced it in the actual terms of service. But not
Well, I
only
mean,
that, because of this whole issue, and people are saying, you know what, I'd rather just cancel my partner program or affiliate program, and because of that, and they seen a lot of people backing out, they are now charging you
$25.
$25 to back
It's
out.
25. It's $25.
It's still stupid. It was free at first, but because of this
I
controversy, and they
know. I
realize they're
know.
losing
I
their
know.
streamers, they're not
It's
making you pay.
I know. But it's $25.
I mean, it's not a matter of $25 or $1 million. It's the principle of it all. And
I
Twitch is being a
understand.
huge scumbag on this. And yes, we're streaming on Twitch, so I'm going to talk about them.
No, it's fine. It's I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. It is a principal thing, and I normally am against that. But the other part, it's like they give a platform. I'm not going to disclose how much money I made. It's not a lot, but I've made some money. So it's like it's $25. Stop yourself. I wouldn't get it if I didn't have it otherwise.
Well, it's not also just $25. If you end your partnership thing, you still can't do it. They also, once again, in this recent 2 days ago, they
Mhm.
updated their policies where even if you back out, you still cannot multi-stream to other places, and the branded thing still stands. So even if you back out of your partner or affiliate, you still can't do it regardless.
So what? So
It's
what do
like,
you?
go ahead.
So what do you mean? They're imposing like you back out on us. It's like you have 6 months, a year, and you can't gain equity through YouTube. Like what's the terms here? I'm kind of missing out.
So that's it. There is no profit off of this. Off the branded things, no matter if you're a partner, affiliate, or non, you still can't advertise any branded content or any paid promotions if it's on Twitch. And with the YouTube thing, or like it doesn't have to be YouTube, you could be Facebook, whatever.
Yeah,
Any
yeah, it could be
web-based
anything.
streaming service. Before it was if you're a partner affiliate, you couldn't multi-stream, but if you were not part of that, you could still stream to other platforms at the same time. Now it's you can't multi-stream. Period.
Oh,
As long as it's a
yeah,
web-based
that
service.
part. Yeah, no, that part sucks for sure. That part sucks for sure.
Yeah. So it's like they're hurting
It,
streamers'
it's
revenues all around, no matter if you're with the affiliate program, partner program, or
it's
not.
I
It's like they're killing people.
I want maybe we'll table this for next week when more information comes out because I do got more to say, but I'm teaser.
Wait, what?
I said let's wait until next week. Maybe we'll revisit this. Maybe more information will come out. I do have more to say, but I'm gonna hold it. We'll see what happens.
I think it's just gonna get worse. Like the fact
That's
that
fine.
all the competition, like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, Kick,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, they
Mm-hmm.
said we'll pay for your fee, just get out of there. And
Yeah.
people are leaving in mass exodus. Like many big streamers are like, we're out. Like even well, I don't want to say Elon because he's not streaming, but like Elon was like, we'll pay for it, we'll put up a Twitter service and all that stuff because Carlson Tucker, they're already doing streaming services now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, people are just leaving in mass droves. I'm like, Twitch is basically killing itself here. Like the only one that
Or
could take down Twitch is Twitch.
or Amazon because they're owned by Amazon. So
Well, tomato tomato, you know what I meant. Twitch is
yeah, I
Twitch,
know.
Amazon,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, but they're owned by like yeah, whatever. Uh, any other small news before the big topics? Before the big
I
ones?
Yeah. So, besides the whole Twitch thing, I know we were talking about this, but you didn't care because it's WWE. Twitch and WWE announced a multi-year deal. They never announced a price. They just said that they're in a negotiating contract, so they can stream on here. Which I think is kind of funny because didn't AEW also stream on Twitch for a while?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Who was the organization that did stream on Twitch? I know it was a wrestling organization.
AAW, which is a local promotion here. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they did campaign for a while. I unfortunately I kind of fell off the indie scene, especially since my cousin hasn't been making the rounds.
Oh.
So yeah, so
I honestly think, and obviously we can revisit this later. I have
hmm
a theory that because NBA, NFL, and a whole bunch of other major networks are starting to move to Twitch as a broadcasting, even though they're making very little views. I
Hmm.
think Twitch is trying to kill the streamer service for gaming and turn them into a network for actual media companies.
Possibly. I mean, once again, and that's kind of why I brought up the whole Amazon idea, right? Because I kind of agree with your assessment. Like, I think not to immediately say it's bigger and better things, but in the sports world, you are seeing much like the streaming world, exclusiveness. So, like Apple, they purchase X amount of games on a season that are exclusive to their service. I
Well,
could see
they
the same
also
thing.
exclusively own Major League Soccer too.
Well, I'm not even getting into soccer. I'm just talking about baseball, like all the majors here in the states, right?
Okay.
Unfortunately, soccer is not a major here in the states. But yes, no. I mean, it's still part of the example, no doubt. But like, what I'm getting at is like Twitch alone, in my opinion, I could be totally wrong with this, but I feel like Twitch alone probably couldn't do this. So, but with the parent company, Amazon, obviously a bottomless pit of money, virtually, um, they could do this. So, uh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you're right.
It would. I think maybe this is like so. You know how we're talking about like other companies, masking each other, but they're still under the same parent company.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, Kick. I was doing some research. They're
Mm-hmm.
made by the same people that made Twitch, like the
Or the
streaming
OGs.
platforms. No, not the
Mm-hmm.
OGs from
Oh.
Amazon. Like they're from the same web developer. So it's kind of weird that even though Kick is fighting against Twitch, they're
Mm-hmm.
still almost owned by the same person. So
Mm.
I'm like, that's kind of weird that they're like counter argumenting each other when they're kind of made by Amazon already.
Mm.
That's why they're offering these massive, revenue splits, like 95 for the streamer, 5% for Kick. I'm like, I feel like you're doing this because you're trying to split them again, so Twitch can be this media service while Kick is actually the gaming streaming site.
Maybe.
But going to
But
other
then,
news, I'm sorry, go ahead.
but like once again, it's like they're making the grass greener on the other side right now.
But then they're gonna immediately cut it down once that transition happens. That's why I'm like, people are like, oh yeah, you're getting 95% of the revenue. I'm like, for now. But once it starts kicking off, it's gonna be 50-50, then 70-30, and then it's gonna be back to what Twitch is offering now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's why I didn't make the move to Kick. I was gonna do
but
that, for
but
potential growth,
but
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 that was it.
I was reading certain streamers, and not dare I say not the big whales of the world, but I mean they're far more reputable and probably make more money than I do. But um, that's why like just even the self branding is so important, not necessarily you dependent on sponsorships and stuff of that magnitude, because those are the ones that are crying, and not trying to attack them, but that's why like it's such a tough place to break into, right? Because you got to learn how to self brand yourself, where you're not so dependent on sponsorships and everything like that. Because you could go out and do, um, like some of them do the shit. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, they just do other gigs, right? Like they do other things. Uh, like that's what you got. That's what you got to do. Like you use the platform in a sense, right? You use your gaming abilities per se. You use your persona, you brand, and you do other things. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but
It's kind of funny that you mentioned this because this is why YouTube has been succeeding drastically recently within the streaming service. Since Twitch has been making these ludicrous decisions to do these changes, a
mm-hmm.
lot of the good streamers that have been able to just brand themselves and make them their product have moved to YouTube and have exploded because after them just making gaming content, they started doing shows, they started working with other people that are in the same space,
Commentating. Yep.
and they have just been absolutely gigantic in the media service in that in regard. Like I'm pretty sure you heard of Valkyrie, Sakuno, Leslie, all that stuff, or Decepticate, Markiplier, and all that stuff. They were
Really,
originally what
no, I was saying, unfortunately, the only one I know is the first one. He's
Valkyrie,
yeah.
but
I don't know
they
nothing.
branded themselves perfectly. Where you're there for them,
Yeah.
but they surround themselves by other people that are doing the same thing. And because all of them are so, how do you say it, self-reliant and just personable, that's how they, group together, and them, as all their individual success branch together, just explode into a massive all-star cast.
Yeah. The only thing I would be concerned about for all them, not to be too culty, unless they already are. But
I, all I heard was not to be too culty. What did you
yeah,
say before that?
that's what no, that is what I said. I said the only thing I'd be concerned about that whole like success story is they don't become too culty. I
Oh,
said
well, the
I
fan
said
base, every fan base
unless
of
I
that
said
caliber gets there.
they're unless they already are, then okay, well,
Every fan base is like that. Them themselves, they seem very grounded in reality. But fans are fans. They're always going to be culty.
oh no, I wasn't talking about fans. I was strictly talking about them as a group.
Oh no, they're well. I can't speak because I'm not in it, but from
Yeah,
what I've watched, they seem very open to newcomers as long as they fit what they're what they're doing.
yeah, culty as long as they fit what they're doing.
Well, like not being dramatic, just having fun playing a game, just
Not
that.
not announcing that there's only two sexes in the world.
Yeah. They're very smart, and this is why I like Valkyrie, because well, not just Valkyrie, but their group altogether, because they purposely leave politics out of it. They don't pander to either side. They're Switzerland. They're neutral, and that's why I like is that they know that if they say something, they're gonna split and make it
Oh yeah,
guilty, and that's
yeah.
why they purposely leave that out of there, and they just
Hmm.
focus on what they're doing and what they're playing, and that's it, nothing else. And that's what I appreciate about them. So if you're like, what's his name, Andrew Tate, you're not gonna be in it because of that. But if you're also like Greta
Oh, bah
Thunberg,
humbug.
you're not going to be in there either.
Yeah,
There's a reason why they kicked Pokimane and Hassan out of their group because of that reason. They still talk to him, but they don't do content with
yeah.
them.
Like they still sleep with each other, but
They just don't put them on their channel. But yeah, I just thought that's cool. And then also same thing with streamer thing is apparently called. I have a feeling that this is a bait. So I'm a fan of Call of Duty League. I love watching the esports. Been watching it for years.
mhm.
Recently, there was a thing from Dextero saying that the Call of Duty League is trying to sign another multi-year deal with YouTube to stream exclusively there for their competitive league. But a lot of the people that are running these teams and organizations, they said they've heard nothing about that. I have a feeling that the Call of Duty League and YouTube put this out there as a bait to see what the reaction was before they actually signed any deal. But supposedly, if this does go through, it's going to be signed for the 2024 season. After that, it's going to be a 2-year contract where they can only stream exclusively to YouTube if it goes through. But I feel like this was just a bait to see reaction.
But that's only obviously that's just the main tournament. Um, how can I put it? Like the mainstream, right? I mean, obviously they can't enforce that on individuals.
No, so whenever it comes to like let's say NFL matches, like that's what they basically are. Any Call of Duty League
Yeah,
official matches are going to
yeah,
be streamed only through YouTube. But like let's say if
but
you're playing Call of Duty as an individual player, you can still play on
yeah,
Twitch or whatever.
yeah. That's my point. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
the official league
yeah,
matches.
yeah. Like the main cam type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so those will only be through YouTube, which I'm gonna be honest, they've done this before for 3 years. I can't remember when it happened, but I know World War II was one of it when it happened. But when it went to YouTube for 2 or 3 years, I did not watch esports one bit. I moved
Mm.
on. I'm like, if it's not on Twitch, I'm not gonna watch it because the YouTube side was still developing their streaming service at the point,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it's just not watchable. Like, I'm not gonna do it now, maybe, but I still rather them be multi-platform because right now, as it
Gotcha.
is, they're not locked down. They stream on YouTube, they stream on Twitch, they stream on Facebook, they stream on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like viewership wise and promotion wise, why wouldn't you do that? More eyes, more money.
Mm-hmm.
But people are saying that it's Google, they could throw some money, but supposedly the league contract that they might have made, it's not enough to cover their financial situation right now. But I just think it's funny because a lot of a lot of heads of these esports teams, they're like, "What? I've never heard of this. This is. I mean, we just had a meeting about this a while ago, and we didn't hear anything about them signing a contract." And then 2 days later, they're flying out for another meeting. So nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but there's been like obviously leaks and rumors that this might be a new multi-year deal for YouTube.
Cool, cool.
But yeah, I hope it doesn't
I,
happen.
I got nothing really to add on that except like, I guess good for them. Like I don't really know what to say.
I would say it would be bad for them because right now the Call of Duty League is suffering a lot of financial situations because they've been throwing their money for branding and certain player issues.
Well, I
But
mean,
the
once
supposed
again,
contract wouldn't cover that.
I feel like a decision like this, every decision revolves around money.
Oh,
So,
100%.
someone is doing their homework and they already narrowed it down like this is the way to go, this is the best way. That's it. Like and
Well,
and and and,
I don't want to
and
say they did their homework. They're just assuming because Mixer did the
well,
same thing and they failed.
well, I'm still gonna say did some homework because
They copied off the
like
idiot.
like we know like exclusiveness is something that happens a lot in this world, and I guess even like with gaming we talk about Sony and Squeenix and et cetera, like it's not that surprising to me. So
Yeah. I mean, obviously, deal's a deal, but whatever.
yeah, a
So
deal's a deal.
that's pretty much it. There's other stuff, but I feel like just because they're still developing, I'd rather hold off. So we can move on to the first topic, but I know you gotta go.
Yeah, let me
Um,
run really quick while you could still introduce it. I hopefully shouldn't take too long.
all right, moving on to topic one. We have the Apple Showcase. Well, we're probably going to talk about. Whoops, hold up. We're probably going to talk about Apple Vision Pro, which is the new VR headset that Apple recently introduced. But I also want to talk about well, I was about to say gaming computer, their new Mac Tower that's now $12,000.
What?
If you fully customize it with the high end stuff that people the most studio people do, it's
Yeah.
$12,000 just for the tower.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think it's like 6,000 for or anywhere to 4 to 6,000 base, which is the average stuff.
Wow.
But if you want to like kick it up into high gear with all the high end items, it's $12,000 total.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? But if you're into studio making, editing, engineering, audio engineering, all that stuff, it's 100% worth it. Not for gaming because people have already done testing on during the showcase. Apple's like, oh, we're now making that Mac more accessible for PC gaming and all that stuff. People are already porting stuff to the Macs, and it runs like absolute trash. But
That's
they're
why
go ahead.
oh, say that's why Whoopi Goldberg is a sub Diablo 4 is not on there.
Yeah, it's funny. People are like porting it over because the whole Proton thing that Apple just recently introduced. But of course, this is individuals porting it over, not actual companies. So maybe as they get ported over from the professionals, they'll get better.
Questions, yeah.
But right now, as it stands, dude, it's like Cyberpunk and all these other games, dude, they run like a hot jittery mess.
Mm. Wow.
But it's so cool that they're realizing that the gaming space is very important, and they realize that one reason why they're losing out to PC is because of the gaming as well. So they're like, hey, we got to tap into that market. I know they're probably going to push, which I feel like they're still going to fail because Apple's very exclusive. So if there's going to be any games, it has to be on Apple Arcade, and they're very, very greedy on how they do their revenue split. So I see that dying out very soon. But to the main topic during this Apple showcase, they announced their new headset, their VR headset, the Vision Pro, for $3,499.
Is it the only model?
It's the only model that
Only
I
model.
seen,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of weird because why call it a Pro if that's the only model? Just call it the Apple Vision. But
Yeah.
supposedly they've had other stuff like glasses, but that didn't take off.
Yeah, because I think there's like they've already also announced like all the accessories that are supposed to be with it, right? I believe so. Like, is there something like a like a cap or something?
Well, that band that goes over the head that comes with it, that's the strap.
Well, no, not that. No, there's like other things like an actual like almost like a shower cap or some shit where like it I guess for more to be even more comfortable. I don't know. They have a list of accessories. Like that's all I could tell you. And one
I
of them,
I didn't watch the whole showcase. All I got
oh
up to
me
was like the
either.
computer part, but I didn't see that at all. I know that they have that extension battery pack that you put in your pocket because I was like, are they connecting that to your phone? But then it turns out there's an actual battery pack to access the processor.
So speaking of battery, did you see how long it's supposed to last for?
Wasn't it like 6 to 12 hours?
I don't know why, unless I might be getting that PlayStation Q mixed up, but I thought it was 2 hours.
I don't want to say I'm confident in my answer, but I feel like it was like 6 to 12 hours. But I could be wrong. I could be very wrong.
Because I remember seeing something, and someone mentioned like, "Oh, you can't even watch a full Christopher with that thing," and I thought it was the Vision Pro. Now I feel like googling it.
Let's Google it. Let's
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 Google it.
double check our facts.
Battery life on Apple. What's it called? Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah,
Da, 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 da. 2 hours. I was right.
that's shocking. So, do they know if
That's
that's just a base battery or if it's gonna be like an extension?
2 hours is fucking nothing.
Well, with the amount of hardware that's pumped into the heads, I'm
I
surprised it
know.
gets 5 minutes.
Yeah, so let's talk about the good. I kind of threw that as a curveball and went totally negative, but let's throw that to the side. Let's talk about the good because it sounds.
So going back, so from what I understand, this is Apple's first 100% real attempt at a virtual AR headset. So it's supposed to show virtual reality in an AR space. So it's what was it like a 4K something 100 million pixels in each lens, whatever. But because of the cameras and the sensors, it actually turns those the displays in your eyes and actually shows you the real world, so you can still interact with like people and whatever objects in your house, but still project the digital projections that you're running, like movie or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen any headset besides the HoloLens ever do that. Usually it's just either virtual reality where you just put the headset on, you can't see anything around you, or you could see glasses, but it's very horrible quality pictures. But this is the first one that looks like it's going to be high def all around. You could either see people around you, do FaceTime calls, or you could just completely turn the dial, lock everything out, and now you're in a full screen movie theater.
Yeah, it really from that vantage point and perception, it sounds to fucking try it,
Yeah.
even for the full 2 hours.
But just
uh,
imagine, like, if let's say even if it's 2 hours and somehow they
yeah,
release another battery pack that does 6 hours,
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
The fact that you could walk around and like actually see someone full person in the side while you're walking around, on the streets or whatever, it's pretty amazing. Obviously, people are gonna make fun of you because you got that giant fishbowl in your head. But the fact that you can see both at the same time, I feel like I'm in Blade Runner.
It's like we're talking about what does the future have next in store for us, and like this is it. I feel like this is it. Like this is that next pinnacle technology that needs to still probably get fine tuned, right? But this is
Mhm.
the first of it, right? The price point scares me away. Of course, I don't foresee myself buying it.
the the price point is
However,
very high, but because people like Disney and other major corporations that have never chipped in before are now starting to work in development for this headset, it's very promising.
yeah, I do know a particular person that will be getting it, so I'm sure maybe get to have it on my head. And yeah, it sounds and looked amazing. And I don't own any Apple products currently. My first computer used to be an Apple product, an iMac. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, I would love to test it and try it, and then figure out whether or not it's worth my money. At this current time, no, but I could probably, dare I say, easily be sold. But like, yeah, it just sounded so amazing. I
Yeah,
don't think it has to be dependent on anything else too, which makes it so much more enticing, right? Because it's basically a computer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it has
So
the M2 and M Ultra chip in there, which blew my mind that there's two processing chips in the headset alone.
yeah, it's just like the fact that it's basically a standalone computer on your head.
It's not just a
Which,
standalone computer. It's
which I
basically
guess
go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I guess, which, like, I mean, I'm making it sound more amazing than it is. It's still amazing.
Oh,
I'm not trying
it's
to
very
diminish it.
amazing.
I'm not trying to mention, but in reality, we kind of really have that stuff on our phone, right? So except it's just like clink. But adding the whole AR aspect is like a whole new ballgame. So like, yeah, I'm very interested in trying this shit out.
It's funny because I actually think Apple's a very evil, greedy, scumbag company because they preach all this acceptance pride stuff, but they do a lot of
Yeah.
shady stuff like their lithium batteries. They come from basically child slave camps. And
Mhm.
I know it's going to sound horrible because I own a lot of Apple products, so it's like, oh, if you hate them, why do you use them? The
Mhm.
product's good. It's like, even though they do horrible things, but what tech company doesn't do that stuff?
Mhm.
But I was like, because I own a lot of Apple products, the reason why this headset seems so good to me is because of their compatibility with each other. If you have a HomePod, or what's it called? I think that's what they're called. The HomePods, an iPhone, a Mac, they all connect digitally to each other. There's like simple setup. You get
Yeah.
your messages on your computer, you get your messages there, and now it goes to the headset, and the headset connects to all of that stuff.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just amazing utility right there, all at the
No,
all at your fingertips.
for sure. For someone like, uh, yourself, and then there's obviously a very large camp, uh, of people like that. Yeah, that's obviously huge, and obviously, dare I say, it's catered, right, more to them, but not necessarily, right, because like it still can be fully functional on its own. The perks is exactly what you said. Because it's Apple, it's totally compatible. It's going to work with anything you've had previously or currently, probably in the future. So that's just icing the cake. Uh, I mean, just me owning no Apple products, it's still very enticing.
Yeah. One thing I am interested in, I'm not sure if you watched the whole reveal of this Vision Pro,
No.
but so one thing that they are, I've never used FaceTime. Well, I use FaceTime, but I don't use it often because I hate it. But obviously, they've always been pushing FaceTime. Apparently, if you have this headset on, they are constantly scanning your face to recreate it. So whenever you FaceTime someone, you're not actually showing your face. The device is actually generating an AI image of you and just reconstructing your movements and sound. So when people see you, they're gonna see like a digital version of you, but that kind of looks like you. So I thought that was really interesting, and I would love to see it from their perspective on what it would truly look like.
What I'm trying to, I mean, I feel like I'm trying to failing. I can't even talk. I'm failing to understand why it has to. Like, I know it's kind of hard if it's on your face to show yourself. Hmm.
Yeah, it's really weird. They showed like a little segment of it, and even in that
Yeah.
like um showcasing they did, the AI version that they recreated for the FaceTime moment still looked really weird. And I'm like, this is high production version of what it could look like. What's the
Mhm.
actual call gonna look like? I mean, it looked weird.
Yeah.
But supposedly everyone that you see is obviously gonna be the way they are as long as they're holding a phone themselves. You'll see
Yeah.
them as they are. But if you're wearing the headset, they're gonna digitally recreate you like one of their avatars.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, that kind of seems like a drawback a little bit.
Yeah. But besides that, I know this is gonna sound stupid, and
Mm-hmm.
because whenever I look at an Apple product, I look at it for simply the entertainment aspect. But seeing that movie functionality where you can turn a dial and change the screen size and also location just blew my mind. And also seeing that Disney has also developed that Disney Plus to work with this. So whenever you put a movie, it actually projects the background as well at the same time, so you can preview the screen but still be immersed in their environment. I'm like, for media, this is amazing.
Yeah, and that's like those are the things that I would love to experience because like in some capacity, I mean, this will dare I say this will never happen. We don't once again don't know how the future what the future holds, but if you're not like a video gamer, right, and you don't need a TV for console gaming, this in theory could replace your TV.
Oh yeah, Like there'll be
Like
no reason for a
that's
home theater anymore. You have the home theater on your face.
like that. I mean, that's crazy. That's but also cool. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to like finally experience. And who knows? Like it might be one of the things where right, it sounds fantastic, but until you actually experience it on your face, you might be like, it's awesome. It's close, but it's not there yet, right?
Mm.
So, like I said, this is just the start of a new generation of. So, like the fact that we're here now, within the next decade, even before that, like, oh my god.
It's funny because I know when we were seeing this before, we were messaging on Discord. I said even if they promise half of what it actually shows, it's going to be the best headset out there. The only thing I'm concerned about is that with these headsets, eye straining does occur because even though they figured out how to trick your brain to perceive depth in a different way, your eyes are still seeing a screen very close quarters and it's being dilated into a way where it's actually harming your eyes. So I wonder how if there's going to be like a health thing where it's like you have to wear it for so long or it's going to permanently damage your eyesight.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. That's always with anything really you do. Like you see it all the time for playing video games, right? I mean, and it's not wrong, I guess. But like me, like I have a sedentary job where I'm behind computers all day, so it's like computers all day, and then I stream and play video games. So I'm constantly looking at computer screens all fucking day. Whatever. It's the satisfaction we have of enjoying this. You're not gonna come unfaltered. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, but the difference is when you buy your computer, you're at least, I would assume, 3 to 4 feet away from.
Oh no.
This is literally inches, and obviously they, like I said, the VR headset is ingenious because somehow they tricked your mind to perceive depth differently, but the screen is still literally inches from your eyes.
Yeah. I'm sure research is going to get done, and the research is probably going to be improper. So it kind of goes what I say about like dieting. I mean, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't be a super glutton, but you got to enjoy life, man. You got to eat what you want.
It's funny.
View how you want. We're all gonna die at some point. I say that all people are like, oh my god, why are you so grim for?
We all die.
We all die. Like, what do you want from me? Okay, we're gonna live forever. I'm sorry.
That's like the only healthy thinking is that you're like, you're gonna die, so enjoy the time you have. It's like that's the ultimate happy note is that just live in the now.
Yeah, live in the now. I mean, remember when glasses weren't sexy? Glasses are sexy.
Oh, when you say glasses, I thought like glasses to sip out of.
Well, that too, maybe. No.
People always have weird social standards. I've never understood the glasses being nerdy and stupid looking. I'm like, I'd rather be able to see than like, hot.
I think that was like a '90s thing. That's like an old school thing. Now it's like, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I'm super stoked for looking to pre-order or buy it. But I'm stoked. Like I like the virtual reality. Got super excited for. Like I'm like, okay, this is cool. But this I do want to get on my head and.
The funny thing about this headset, I'm sorry, your mic keeps cutting out, so if I don't really understand your questions because of that, so I'm just kind of like filling in the blanks. But one thing that's kind of weird is that they mentioned the VR arcade a little bit, but they really didn't showcase much for gaming. It was more for just utility. And I thought that was the weird part that they were like really emphasizing FaceTime, work projections, like graphs in the back, like more for like working, like the HoloLens has been. But like when people usually associate VR, it's for the gaming purposes, and it's like they did a very small section on that part and they moved on. I'm like, I love how Apple is just like, nah, we're not doing gaming like that.
And that's fine because like, look, we had this conversation last week. I was like, the VR gaming aspect isn't where it probably should be, and for as good as technology has come over the years, especially with gaming, VR seems slower and progressive and being progressive.
Plus, I
But
think
I
it's
think
the smaller market to really advertise for. I think the movie market is really, really where it shines.
no, I totally agree with that assessment, and that's correct. But I also feel like the fantasy that we have with, dare I say this, because somehow you always get proven wrong, but I just don't think that fashion.
Yeah, until we get the Hoptic Ready Player One seats where you can feel them touching.
Exactly. So that's why this, for the way it's being marketed, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like to your point, they're doing it right. They're more entertainment eccentric focus, and that's where it needs to go. And I've told you my grand scheme idea: tickets to live events with your fucking headset on. Like, it may be coming.
If it's Apple that's owning the VR space, it's 100% the ideal way. Or sorry, 100% their company motto to do it that way. Because they love money, so they'll sell tickets.
And like I said, sign me up.
Not for the money part, but sign me up for live concerts.
Both. I mean, it's not going to be free unless they have a subscription service. But like, once again, I could be a zillionaire.
Yeah. No, I think it's very cool, and I will say that I'm not. You said you have a friend that's going to get it day one. I'm very interested in it. I'm not going to get it day one, but I'm hoping for is seeing reviews from people like the Marcus guy, and see what his thoughts on it are. Because if so, maybe after a month or sorry, a year later, it might drop in price, and I'm like, maybe pick it up. So, I think you might see me within a year or two having the headset on my face.
Well, then you have to come over so I could try it out.
Yes.
If I didn't already.
But I don't want to talk about the computer too much because unfortunately I have a very short time constraint. But as much as the MacBook, or sorry, the Mac Tower, I forgot what they call the stupid thing now. It used to be called the Mac, now it's called something else. But their tower system looks like a cheese grater. It's looked like a cheese grater for years, and they still haven't changed the design. They think it looks sexy, but it's dumb.
I didn't even see a concept art, so I have no idea what.
It's not even a concept art. That's the official design.
Oh,
It's
I'm
been like
sorry.
that for years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't see just the design in general. My bad. But yes, I don't know what it even looks.
Well,
They
picture a cheese grater. That's what it looks
they,
like.
Fair enough. In my head, but they should go back to the freaking the iMac format with all the pretty colors. I mean, with everything being Pride Month, like, come on now. There's your money making. Do it.
Yeah. It just is funny. Like it's just a steel silver case, and the back and front look like a cheese grater. I'm like, that doesn't look like a computer. I just want to grate my cheese on that damn thing.
Hey, maybe it's multi-purpose.
It's a $12,000 cheese grater. but besides me making fun of the design, like I said, if I was like a heavy editor or into music designing, their iMovie Studio and all that stuff, it's just amazing. And apparently they can. Well, I know it's gonna sound very technical, but they could do like 12 4K streams at one time and still do it in like live rendering. And I'm like, that's a lot of data just for one computer. That's like a supercomputer at that point. So I was impressed with how much power it could really do when it comes to actual video streaming and editing in real time. And I'm like, at $12,000 to blow randomly, that it would go to that. I'm like, it wouldn't be used for gaming, that's for sure, but it would definitely be used for editing. Because even if you do like DaVinci, like the 3D modeling and all that stuff, it's even good for running that stuff like almost instantly. So if you're into animation, Mac is where you need to go.
Illumination.
Actually, most of their stuff has been done on a Mac.
Yeah.
But moving on to topic 2, we're gonna have to branch this one up quickly. It's for the Summer Game Fest showcase. There was a lot of games done today. Obviously, there's still gonna be more for Xbox coming up June 12th, but we're gonna be talking about what happened on June 8th for the Summer Game Fest. Steve unfortunately didn't get a chance to see this because he was at work, which that's what he should have focused on. But to give the sum down, I'm gonna announce some games that I thought were cool or some big names that were announced. Coming off, obviously, at the beginning was Mortal Kombat 1. They finally showed us gameplay. of the actual characters and also some appearance of the cameo characters, and it looked phenomenal. The set pieces, the background, like all fighting games right now, they're just nailing it with the visual designs of their stages. But their combat, oh man, with the cameo characters coming in with the assist, breaking combos is going to be insane. Like you're going to see some tremendous play out of this because obviously you can't spam these cameo characters to come in, but
is
after
like a cooldown, or is there limited use per round? How does it work? Or do you not? Or do we not know?
So they said it's like a cooldown, but you
Okay.
can still use it often, which they're being very vague on it. But they're saying that there's
Okay.
like a cooldown, so you can't spam it, but you could still use it often in the game to like break or do like a combo attack. And some of the gameplay, like we're seeing like 4 to 5 hit combos with the cameo character, and then being slid in with like another 4 to 5 combo with the actual main character. Like just the whole combat ability was amazing. And the same thing, vice versa. You know, somebody was in a combo, the opposite person that was in the combo used their cameo player to break that set, so they can get out of the fight and then come back in. I was like, defensively and offensively, the cameo characters look really cool.
Okay, that's the first thing I'm gonna do once we're done with our podcast. Since I have it reserved, so it would probably make sense for me to start getting into the product that I have reserved. But I did mention, to your point, yes, I don't know the magnitude of everything that was shown today because of work. It was when it started, and like I mentioned, right after work, I went to a couple stores. So the only thing that I did get to watch right before we started our pod, I don't mean to take the shine away from you, but the Final Fantasy VII, which looked fantastic. I don't really know what to say. It just looked great. The open world part of it looked good. I mean, I'm not calling it open world because I know it's still not going to be open world.
No, it's open world. Did you see the whole thing?
I did watch it. It was like 3.5 minute trailer, right?
So
or is there something more that
there's more at the end? So it's 2 discs and it's only on PS5.
Saw that part.
So that means that that's going to be a really massive game because I think each disc can hold up to like 200 gigabytes. So I think that's going to be a really massive game.
200 gigabytes, Jesus.
That's per disc. So yeah, with that size file, and also seeing the actual chocobos in the wild and seeing them explore, I think this is going to be a true full HD 100% reimagining of the game.
If that fucking is true, that would be fucking amazing. Like,
yeah, and the one reason why I believe this is because it specifically said only PS5, no PS4, only PS5. So they dropped the old generation system away.
Yeah,
because they're like, we gotta get that full scope in.
I hope so. But see, here's the thing, and this is where I still disagree with you, and here's why. Because knowing the original game, and we will definitely end up talking about this more down the road. I know of it. Really quick, this portion of the game is still going to be a linear part of the game. So that's why I'm led to believe it's not going to be like, it's going to be open world to the extent where you're not going to be like confined to like narrow core. Say that to like shit on it because I love that first. You are going to get more open environments, but what I mean, yeah, you mentioned chocobos, that's fine and dandy, but like I'm talking about like the end of the original. You get a ship and you have a free roam to go anywhere, which is why, like, I just don't see that happening. And if I'm wrong, I will be very ecstatic to be wrong. Until I see it to believe it, I just still am not going to. And also, last little tidbit, I want to this whole thing without going down the rabbit hole. I knew it was going to get delayed, but I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, why would they compete with themselves for Game of the Year?
I'm saying.
But Square Enix has announced a lot of big things, because not only just Final Fantasy VII Part 2 Rebirth, they also announced a mobile game, which most likely, since it's a Square Enix game, it's going to get shot down in 2 months. But they announced Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, I believe. And it's supposed to go more in depth on the Sephiroth story.
I thought the Ever... I'll have to see the trailer. I thought that one was going to be like a... Is that the one that looked chibi? ish. No. Hmm. Okay, maybe I don't know what it is because I know they were supposed to release something that was encompassing the entire universe, so starting with Crisis Core all the way through like Dirge of Cerberus.
It might be a different one, but I know this one is
Okay.
focusing more on Sephiroth, and it is a
Okay.
mobile game. And I was seeing about it's going to be a bit more. In my opinion, it sounds like it's trying to be Octopath Traveler's to the Continent, but in Final Fantasy VII form, just with his story and a couple of his characters.
Interesting. Okay,
Because
I'll have to
it
check
looks
it
like a
out
normal
too.
Final Fantasy character, like the Final Fantasy VII remake. It looks like that
Interesting.
just on mobile.
Interesting. I'll have to see what it is. Um, what else do we have?
So obviously, besides Final Fantasy VII being the grand announcement, and I was also shocked that it's 2 discs because of PS5. Liza P, we finally got a official release date, which I hate that they're doing this. There's two. It comes out at the same time as Mortal Kombat 1,
Hmm.
or a day before Mortal Kombat 1, September 19th. It's also
Hmm.
coming to Game Pass. Obviously, they showed more of the Souls bound or Souls like game with Pinocchio. I
Hmm.
thought that was really cool. Spider-Man 2 obviously being a big one. They showed showcase. I made a funny prediction because I was just like, going off of previous stuff. I was like, oh, it's going to come out October 23rd or November 23rd. And then they announced October 20th. I'm like, oh, it's 3 days off. I just thought it was really funny. I'm like, I knew it was coming out at that time because they want to aim for early fall. So that's cool that Spider-Man 2 is coming out October 20th. People are looking forward to it. It's gonna be weird to see Carvin and some of these other Spider-Man villains, but seeing the seeing the teamwork between Miles and Peter is gonna be pretty cool. I know you're looking forward to the collector's edition.
Well, I said it looked cool. Like I'm not going to buy it. I'm not even going to buy the regular game. I'm just that's easy money. Like I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked really good.
dude, this one is gonna be an interesting one. I wish we could talk more about this if I wasn't at time crunch.
Oh,
But
well, we have future podcasts, Josh. We will be talking.
this is true. There's a game that was announced. I can't remember who is developing this game, but it's
Mhm.
a Pokemon clone. It's called Sandland, or sorry, not Sandland. It's called Pal World. It's 100% a Pokemon Arceus game, and I'm like,
Oh,
Nintendo is getting ripped off 100%. Pokemon just got stolen from them. Splatoon just got stolen from them. I'm like, what else is gonna be stolen next? Pikmin?
wait, but was this game stolen from them by Square Enix again?
I don't remember if it was Square Enix, but if you watch the trailer for Pal World,
Uh-huh.
I swear to God, they look identical to Eevee's, Wooloo's. Like when I seen them, like, is this Pokemon coming to PS5? Dude, they even have Salamence in there. Like legit, they just copied and pasted the Pokemon, but just changed slight differences. It is insane how much they ripped off Pokemon in this game. I don't know how it became fully developed.
Can we say that a lawsuit may be pending?
I would assume Nintendo would want to do that because if you like, I'm telling you, no joke, the characters, the little creatures that they have, 100% look rip off Pokemon. The only
Okay.
difference is they're shooting in the game. Like it is insane how much Nintendo is getting ripped off right now by these corporations like Splatoon, now Pokemon. What else? Mario's gonna be remade instead of Italian. He's now Greek. Like what? But besides me, making fun of Pal World, because it does look like a Pokemon clone with shooting, I am very much interested in it. Um, there's another game coming out called Sandland. It's an anime game. It's the art style. I believe the story is also made by Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and some other people, some other stuff. So seeing that is pretty cool. I love the art style. It also reminds me of Blue Dragon, so I'm interested in that. Another game I'm looking forward to is 40K Warhammer Space Marines 2. It's basically 40K Warhammer. It's a giant series, but it's a third-person shooter, and it's a continuation of the first Space Marines. If you like Gears of War, you're gonna like this game. Another game that I'm looking forward to is Toxic Commando, which pretty much reminds me of Left 4 Dead and World War Z in one game, just more, how do you say, punkish, but the zombies look really cool.
That's my nickname when I'm in my birthday suit.
Toxic Commando. But yeah, there's a lot of games there. A a lot of big ones, but yeah, I wish we could. I wish we could show it on screen. I don't have it set up, but I need to, actually hold on. We have enough time. I want you to pull up Pal World on your phone and just watch a little snippet of it. I want to hear your reaction to this.
Spell this for me.
PALWORLD. PAL.
Okay, I got it. Pal World.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Electabuzz. Holy crap, that one looks
It looks
Leafeon.
like Wooloo, Eevee, Umbreon. Dude, they look ripped. I'm telling you, ripped off.
Holy no, you are not sure that. Wow,
You see Wooloo right off the beginning.
that is a lawsuit pending.
And when you watch it, it gets worse.
I mean,
there's so many Pokemon ripoffs in there.
Unless they flat out like put a disclaimer that this is satire. Like, how do you get away?
Because they're shooting in it? I don't know.
Like, there's one thing to be inspired,
and one thing to completely rip them off by cloning their Pokemon exactly the way they look.
and kind of making them like evil or toxic or what have you. Wow. Yeah, that is. All right, viewers, check out this one, Pal World, and let us know this is a ripoff, because holy shit, except that they give them guns.
Yeah, it's funny because later on it gets worse because, like, legit, an actual Salamence comes in just different color, and you're riding on a Salamence.
I'll have to watch the actual trailer, but just out of the pictures I saw, like that, if it's not satire, I don't know how you get away with that. Like, there is going to be a lawsuit. I would be shocked if there's not a lawsuit.
I was just like imagining Nintendo watching this. I'm like, as they're watching this showcase and they see Pal World, like, oh, that's an interesting game. They see Pokemon, they're like, what? This isn't our. We don't have the game right. They're like, what is this? And then they're like, lawyers, we have work for you.
Oh my god, I can't wait to now hear about the lawsuits, because like they gotta be coming. They gotta be coming. How does that happen?
I don't know, but when I seen that, man, I'm like, two Nintendo clones immediately after each other. I'm like, that. Come on now, something's going on here. And they're advertising it for PlayStation mostly.
The Splatoon ripoff gets away with it. This, because the Splatoon one, yes, it is a ripoff. It's easily admittable, but it's not a clone. It's like saying like that Nickelodeon fighting game is a ripoff of Smash Brothers. Like, we know that. It's the ripoff of the gameplay style, not the actual style, or not the actual characters, right? This is characters, which is a big difference. Like, you could rip on the style all day and give credit where credit's due. Because, like, the Splatoon 1 is a unique play or unique shooter fire style, I guess. Would you consider it a shooter? Yeah, kind of, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shooter.
So it's a unique style of gameplay, much like Smash Brothers is unique. Well, maybe I'm wrong by this, and someone could correct me via our comments and be like, Steve, you're an idiot. You know, maybe in Japan they had one before Smash ever existed. But for me and my understanding of the world, I think Smash was unique for its time. And they made it extremely popular. So in the world, there's always inspiration, there's always copycat leaks, but that's pretty damn close to like copyright infringement. Like, you don't get away with that.
Like, at first I'm like, what is this, Pokemon Legends of Arceus on PS5? I'm like, what? It's crazy. And then I'm like, oh, the only difference is there's guns.
Like, yeah, hey guys, I got a really great idea. What if we did Pokemon with guns? No. Lawsuit pending.
I just want to know, like, obviously we're talking about like clones paying homage and all that stuff with Splatoon, but how do you think Nintendo really feels about both these games? Do you think they're like a little like, come on guys, really?
Well, okay. If I may, and I'm going really like, I'm thinking like good play, let's play nice in the sandbox mentality here. I feel like Square Enix and Nintendo probably have somewhat of a good relationship.
until this
that.
game and they had a falling out.
Well, maybe. But I would like to think somewhere along the lines there might have been a little side meeting, be like, hey, look, guys, we kind of want to steal your idea with that. Like, maybe I'm totally, oblivious, or not oblivious, but like I can't think of a word right now, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there might have been like one talk, like, hey, you guys cool with this? And they're like, this, no, no. Unless they flat out say at the very start of the screen when you put that game in that this is satire, that's the only way I could see you get away with it. Because then you can't sue them if it's satire. It's satire.
Yeah, under that parody
thing. You could be butthurt all you want. You could get canceled for satire. We know this. It's a weak world out there. But I don't think that would hold in the court of law if they admit to satire.
It's weird, but the law of... I know you're talking about the Parody Act. I know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, depending on how severe the plagiarism is, even under the Parody Act, it can still be revoked. You're not
wrong. But if I was to defend it, right, that's the only defense it has, is what I'm getting at.
And the defense is, we have guns. That's the only difference.
No, to your point, you're right. Like, at some point, they could still win, of course. Nintendo can have this revoked, and if 10,000 copies were sold, well, those 10,000 probably not a lot of money. But, we gotta file this one. It has to have a lawsuit. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, we could probably revise this again later because, we're also going to talk about the Xbox Showcase next week. So maybe you could, rewatch this and maybe we can, do a little recap of this. But some of these games are really funny. But out of the games I mentioned, obviously the Pokemon clone. Out of Final Fantasy, obviously you're probably really looking forward to Final Fantasy Part 2 the most.
Yeah.
But out of Sandland, Lies of Peace, Space Marines 2, Spider-Man 2, most likely it's that. Mortal Kombat 1, Toxic Commando, Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. Which one are you probably looking forward to more? I have a feeling I already know my answers, or I think I know what your answers is, but I want to hear from you.
At this time, it's Mortal Kombat, for sure.
Okay.
You're
saying Mortal Kombat if Final Fantasy can't be your pick, right?
7? Oh yeah, hands down. I thought your question to me was after like 7 was the known one. I thought your question.
I just wanted to double check that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it would be Mortal Kombat for sure. I mean, the other one, it's like I have to do a little bit more research, especially if it's mobile only. Like for me, Octopath worked. I don't know if that one will, so I have to do a little bit more research. So right now it would be Mortal Kombat. Like, let me just say this. I didn't mean Spider-Man because I'm not. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. People are going to love it. And like I said, I admitted that collector's edition looks cool. There may be a slim chance I might pick it up. I'm just saying. Maybe not day one, but maybe I'll get it right because it does look like it would be a very. And plus, the first one did really well too, right? So.
Well, not just the first one, the second one too. Miles Morales did really good.
Oh, there was a second one. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's not dubbed the sequel, but it's considered like the extension of it. But yeah, it did really well.
Gotcha.
For me, obviously, I want to say Mortal Kombat 1, but that's an obvious pick. Final Fantasy 2, obviously. Mm-hmm. The one that shocked me the most, I mean, obviously, I knew Space Marines was coming out. I knew Lies of P was coming out. Sandland. I was not expecting a Akira Toriyama game. And the fact that it looks like Blue Dragon, it looks like it's just an open world shooter, RPG, action RPG. It has really gotten my interest. This might be one of those games where I might pre-order day and date, and it's not a AAA game. So that's shocking to me that an anime game is actually getting to me, mostly because Akira Toriyama.
Cool.
But yeah. I can't wait to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I need to obviously catch up on everything that happened today. We'll hopefully do that throughout, as long as it's, we don't have same day live podcast and stream kind of coinciding with each other. But also too, you didn't mention it either, but you did co-stream the event, so kudos on that. And for those that do watch or listen to our podcast, something that Josh wants to continue to do. So please also support Josh's solo endeavors and watch any future viewings with.
Yes, as long as I'm available, I would love to be able to do more watch parties of esports things and obviously these special events. But thank you for pointing that, for shouting that out. Yeah, because there's a lot of games. I just made like a quick list. Obviously, there's a lot more that was in the showcase, but these are the games I kind of felt like we already talked about. We knew
quick hits.
But yeah, there's some cool ones. I feel like because a lot of it was leaked, I'm gonna rate the showcasing as like a C. But if we're coming to actual like titles, it's more like an A standing because Final Fantasy Part 2, Mortal Kombat, Space Marine, Spider-Man 2, Liza P, and Alan Wake 2. Like those are some hard hitting titles right there in the summer showcase, and we actually get dates. I know you haven't seen it, but how would you rate it just based off of title reveals alone and date reveals? I know it's hard for you to judge because you haven't seen it, but
yeah, like to your point, like I knew 7 was gonna happen eventually, so like I guess for me more like a B minus. But yeah, I guess I'll have to experience myself. Maybe my grade will change, and maybe much like you, something will captivate my eye and surprise me. But if I may, and this is gonna sound like I'm shitting on, much like Showcase, to me it seems a little lackluster. But that's just based on very limited knowledge. Like I'm basing it what you just told me. So, which is not because you think I'd be more ecstatic because of Final Fantasy Rebirth, but
because of the internet and rumors and leaks, you already knew.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's like we had the first one, so we know more's coming. It's just a matter of when, and we still don't know the exact when. I think they 24, right? Date. So.
It's early. I'm not sure if you said it because your mic was cutting up, but it's early 2024.
Yeah, but not an exact date is what I was saying. No. So, but yeah, we're all these different titles. Like I said, we'll be talking a lot more of throughout the year. And like what are we doing? We're eating good.
Dude, everybody's eating good. Like Diablo, action RPG people, like people that like Diablo, Path of Exiles, because Path of Exiles was also released here. Divinity, Original Sin, dude. People that love that genre of games are just having an absolute field day right now with Diablo 4. Like I said, Path of Exiles. Like, why is everybody releasing all like the pinnacle games of the genre in all one time? Like,
I guess we have COVID to blame, but also to thank.
Because I'm like, space it out a little bit. Like, Diablo 4 is gonna compete with Path of Exiles. The fighting game community has to fight with Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken, and Guilty Gear all at the same time. Plus, some other games are coming out. There's some shooter games coming up that are pretty sought after right now. I'm like, do they not realize that putting it one time is gonna hurt your money income instead of getting more? It's like space them out. Space them out.
I mean, yes and no, because gamers are a different breed, man. We don't know how to stop spending money. There's this thing called credit cards.
Yeah.
And some people have this thing called credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great. This year's been great, and it's gonna keep getting better.
Yeah, like there's so many games I've even touched up on. Like obviously they show Crash Team Rumble, Alan Wake, a bunch of other games, but yeah. Going back before to wrap this up real quickly, I almost want to say that showcases are really hurting because of all these leaks. And if we didn't have any of these informations, these showcases would be S tier every single time.
You're right, and if I may make I think that's the equivalent of like the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl commercials. Like nobody cares. Exactly. Like when the time comes, like no one gives a shit. Everyone shits on them. Like this sucks, and it's because it's all the internet's fault. Well, actually, it really isn't because they control that narrative. They let it get leaked.
That's not
Let's be
necessarily
real.
true. There's a lot of people that work inside these things that breach contract. That's usually why the NDRs get sued, or people get sued because of NDRs or NDAs. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
indeed. Mhm.
so people usually breach contract to leak them. Like the guy that hacked, Rocksteady for GTA 6 gets sued. People that hack Call of Duty to release information, they get sued. So I don't know if they're controlling the narrative. I think people are just really good at stealing information online.
Well, whichever way, yes, the internet is the blame. But no, you're right. The element of surprise, it lessens uh, the enjoyment of it. So
Yeah, there is one game which we'll talk about more in the next podcast because I want to talk a long time about this. But there's a game that was revealed for the 12th time. And I'm like, they finally get a release date, but I'm like, I don't believe it. They've been showing this for 7 years. I don't think it's coming out still.
which one is this?
I think it's called Revenant or something like that.
Uh,
It's like a shooter game.
okay.
But yeah. We'll talk about more later because I want to give many instances on why I think this isn't coming out, even though there's an official release date. It's like 7 years to show gameplay, and now you're giving a release date. I don't believe it. You're lying to me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, this was kind of ending soon. This is my fault. I got a late notification to go do something. But hopefully,
Life
you guys,
happens.
yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. We'll talk more about it next week. Plus, there's gonna be more gaming news. June, huge month for gaming.
June month, and we will be back. So leave a like, a subscribe, his channel, my channel. More importantly, the Automata Podcast channel. Love y'all. See you next week, and peace.